Hello, my name is Erica. Today I'm going to tell you the story of how I found out I was pregnant and went from denial to, well, shock. If you're new to my channel and you like what you see, then please give this video a thumbs up. So around the time I was supposed to get my period, in February, I started noticing some yellow discharge. I was suspicious that I was pregnant, but my first thought was like, no, I am not ready for this. I am not going through this again. I don't want this right now. I ended up waiting at least a full week before being willing to test. It was early on a Saturday morning. I took the test and then just left it in the bathroom. I went in the kitchen and started making breakfast. I waited for my husband to get up, and then I sent him into the bathroom and said, will you please just go look at it, because I can't. I wanted to know, but yet I didn't. And so I waited. And I waited. And I was like, did you find it? And he said, finally I hear a reply from the bathroom like, yeah, but there's nothing between the two lines. So I had to laugh. I had forgotten to tell him how to read the test. I just had these little HCG strips from Amazon, and so I had to explain to him that the two lines meant that the test was positive. But I was still not ready to get my hopes up at this point. I was still in denial and actually kind of refused to talk about it over the next few days, even though I think my husband would have liked to be excited. We were still really hesitant after having just gone through 3 miscarriages. I had started seeing some brown spotting and thought, here we go again. But let me tell you, nothing progressed like I thought it would. I was having morning sickness. I was so tired, and everything smelled awful. Everything smelled like sulfur, including myself. So my everyday symptoms seemed to be indicating that it was just an entirely normal pregnancy. But because of the spotting, I was having some doubts, and so I took another pregnancy test and another one, hoping that the line would get darker, and it wasn't. It was coming back fainter and fainter, and I just thought, this is it, I'm having another miscarriage, and I just was preparing myself for that. But nothing else was happening. I wasn't getting any further bleeding. So I finally called my doctor's office and explained the situation, and they just said, why don't you just come in for blood work right away? It was at this time that I also asked them to check my progesterone levels, because it was something that had come up in previous appointments with my OB. So I came home after getting my blood drawn, and I just waited. And I waited. I knew I would be able to get the results fairly quickly online. And so, for reference, I should add that I was about 6 weeks along at this point, and previously, when I had gotten my HCG levels checked, around this time, I had never broken the 10,000 mark. Whatever measurement they used to test your HCG levels, I had never broken 10,000. So you can imagine my shock when I opened up my results and saw 120,000 plus. I just did a double take. I looked, and then I looked again and thought, I have to be reading this wrong. I took a screenshot and I sent it to my mom and was like, this is really high. Not what I expected at all. And her first reaction was, is it twins? Like, I don't know. So after this, I got another call back from my doctor's office, and they congratulated me on my pregnancy. It was just starting to sink in a little bit more, but I still wasn't sure. We got my ultrasound set up for a few days later. We got a prenatal appointment set up, and then my doctor also ended up prescribing me progesterone because my numbers had come back at a 14, and they say generally anything above a 10 is viable or indicates a viable pregnancy. but ideally my doctor would have liked to see it somewhere between 18 and 25. And so she prescribed me the progesterone basically as an insurance policy, just in case my body would not be able to keep up an adequate supply. So at 7 weeks along, by this time I had stopped spotting, and we went to our first ultrasound. My husband and I were super anxious about this appointment. I'm so glad that he could come with me and that I didn't have to go alone. And we got in there. The ultrasound tech wasn't really saying a whole lot, but finally, after what seemed like a few just agonizing, probably only 5 minutes, I don't know, she finally let us hear the heartbeat, or see the heartbeat, I guess. And it was at 160 beats per minute. And guys, I cannot tell you the relief that was. She gave us our ultrasound pictures and we left the office there, and we were just so relieved. Oh, I should add, there was only one gestational sac and one baby, so not to worry, it wasn't twins. But at this point we finally felt like we could start telling friends and family, which we did. We took that opportunity over the next few weeks to slowly start telling people, but we knew that the possibility of me experiencing another miscarriage was still very real, particularly because of my hyperthyroidism. It was definitely still with some hesitation that we started telling people, but yet we were excited. With each person that we told, we felt like just the excitement was becoming more and more real. But I think I'm actually going to stop the story here for now, and I will pick it up next week. This could get a little bit emotional for me, this next part, and so I will just take a break here. Thank you for watching. Again, give the video a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing.